What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast. Week 2 is over. We have some crazy games that we're going to get into today. Also, a big fight happened over the weekend where Terrence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, 168-pound division. But yeah, we're going to get into these games. First, Brandon, how we doing today, sir?
Doing good. Victory Tuesday. I got a Chargers jersey on, but I'm always uh there we go. I'm always Ravens fan. So y'all remember this is Sean Merriman came out of my Maryland, so that's why I got his jersey years ago. You may remember from high school I had it.
I definitely remember Sean Merriman. Yep.
All right, everyone, let's get to this opening drive. Joe Burrow, he injured his toe on Sunday against the Jags. He needs surgery. He's expected to be sidelined for at least 3 months. Cowboys have extended their guard Tyler Smith as a 4-year, $96 million deal. Wide receiver Jalen Polk, he's been traded from the Patriots to the Saints. Cowboys are signing defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. Pro Bowl Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson, he's out indefinitely with a groin injury. Vikings running back Aaron Jones, he'll miss at least 4 weeks because of a hamstring injury. He's been placed on IR. And quarterback J.J. McCarthy will also sit out of at least next week's game. Reigning MVP Josh Allen, quarterback, he plans to wear a visor, protect his nose, as after he was injured against the Jets. Rams head coach Sean McVay, he tore his plantar fascia while celebrating last Sunday's win versus the Titans. That's very interesting. And the NFL says Tom Brady, former Patriots quarterback, 7-time Super Bowl winner, did not break any rules by sitting in the Raiders booth with a headset on Monday Night Football. Of course, everyone, if you didn't know, Tom Brady's a minority owner with the Raiders, so it's been catching some heat over the last couple of years since he's been employed by Fox Sports as well as their lead NFL analysis. Any thoughts on this opening drive?
Yeah, tough luck for Sean McVay, man. You start getting old and dumb shit starts happening. You move the wrong way, something pop, something break. Now he gotta sit down and look sad for a couple of months. With that, I think that's a foot injury, right? But yeah, tough luck for
Yeah.
him. And yeah, we going the Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson. I think that's their best corner. Him being out, their defense is like god awful so far. So good luck to the Bears. But yeah, man. Mm.
Yeah, real quick on this Tom Brady thing, man. I think they're blowing it a little too far out of proportion, in my opinion. I think because he was controversial when he played, so it kind of sticking around now. They're saying that he cannot attend teams' practices throughout the week, which is understandable. And, last year he couldn't attend team meetings. But the fact of the matter is, um, Kevin Burkhardt and whoever was the sideline reporter, it's not like they're not talking about what was discussed in those meetings and practices on air. So it's not like he don't hear it. So to me, it doesn't make any sense to kind of ban him from practices and stuff, in my opinion. And hell, the Raiders ain't been good in years. So what? I mean, do they really think that he gonna give enough insight, secrets to the Raiders to where they're gonna turn it around? Nah, we saw how they looked last night. Is exactly what we're used to.
Yeah, got a good point. Last
All
night,
right, everyone. Sorry.
last night was not good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so an overtime thriller for two NFC East teams. It was the Giants and Cowboys from AT&T Stadium. Ed, you said this game had to be on our show today. What happened?
Oh man, this was a classic NFC East matchup game. Defense decided to wake up at the end of the game overtime because throughout the first 4 quarters, basically no defense. Russell Wilson turned back into his Seattle days. It seemed like throwing his patented moon balls to Malik Neighbors. The Cowboys defense, man, I bet on this game. I said it to myself when we were doing our parlay picks. I said I shouldn't bet on this team, but let me pick the Cowboys to win because Dak Prescott, I think he won his last 13 games against the Giants. So I figured, he probably has a good chance of winning 14. I just thought, the chemistry, momentum, even though they lost to the Eagles, I thought, yeah, let me pick the Cowboys to beat the Giants. At first, it looked like a good choice. And then Russell Wilson just started going. Malik Neighbors, man, had himself a career day. The catch at the end of the game where he basically just runs a go route, goes right past two Cowboys defenders, catches the ball, 19 seconds left in the game. I thought that was the end of the game. And I was like, these goddamn Cowboys. I see. I was waiting for Stephen A. I figured a patented Stephen A. laughing video was coming after that, but no. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey, Cowboys kicker. Somehow the Giants defense allowed them to get in the field goal range, 64-yarder to tie the game, put it into overtime, and that's when the defense started to play a little better. Both teams had an opportunity to win the game and score, but they weren't able to. Eventually, the Cowboys were able to, move down further to the field goal range and kick a field goal to win a game. One thing the Cowboys are doing good this year so far that they haven't been doing good last year was running the ball. This Javonte Williams edition this year has been looking pretty good so far. He had about 97 rushing yards, I believe, in this game, and a couple more yards receiving. There was a play late in that game. Might have been, I don't think it was overtime, but it was a play late in the game where it was either second and long, it could have been third and long, but they were pretty much on their end of the field, and they run like a running back draw, halfback draw, and he pretty much got stopped at the line, but he was able to break away from the tacklers, and he rushed for about another 15, 17 yards and change it to third and short, and it allowed the drive to keep going. That was a really pivotal moment, in my opinion, in the game because I don't know what would happen if they would have got stopped short on that play. But overall, man, Cowboys defense, I got to see what this Jadeveon Clowney signing looks like because Michael Parsons is, rejuvenated with the Packers. They definitely could have used a pass rush like Michael Parsons against the Giants. Because, dude, Russell Wilson was picking them apart, throwing it. Not just to Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson also had himself a game too, man. They were doing whatever they wanted. The announcer, I think it was Greg Olsen. I'm gonna talk about him a little bit in a second too. But I think it was Greg Olsen was like, I know Malik Neighbors out there somewhere, so I'm gonna just throw it up. And that worked pretty much the whole game until overtime. I think that's when can't remember the safety name. I think it was Donovan Wilson. Somebody, but Russ tried to do one of them go balls again. It was either confusion on a route. He didn't know when Malik Neighbors was going to turn a certain way, but he got picked off, and that allowed the Cowboys to go down the field and win the game. But to Greg Olsen, real quick, I think he's the best commentator in the game right now. He called an amazing game. He's a natural at it. He has it, in my opinion, when I'm talking about commentating and play-by-play calling. He's just really good at calling games. I used to think it was Tony Romo a little bit ago, but I think Greg Olsen is the best commentator or play-by-play analysis in NFL right now. I feel bad for him that he got regulated to the number 2 spot or the regional broadcast, and Tom Brady got promoted since he's a big name. But it's clearly Greg Olsen's the best. Hopefully, he gets another opportunity again because I thought he did a great job calling the game. But what were your thoughts on this game, sir?
Yeah, let me give credit where credit's due. Russ was cooking, as they used to say back in Denver days. I mean, excuse me, not the Denver days, Seattle days. Damn near the entire game. He's always known for his deep throws, and they were on full display on Sunday. I wanted New York to score at least one touchdown, if y'all remember in Friday's show, Saturday's show. But they ended up with four. He had the big one outside the numbers to Wan'Dale Robinson. You mentioned that came back with the go route inside the Malik Neighbors. Um, but with Russ, the good also comes the bad. His final pass at AT&T Stadium in his New York Giant debut, um, Dallas's front four put a little bit of pressure on him. He threw a pass up there and it sailed in the air, and it honestly looked like a punt the way the Cowboys defender came down with it. And I was like, wow, that same quote you mentioned from Greg Olson, I believe, was on that play. He was like,
Or
oh, let me just throw it up there because I know Malik's out there somewhere. It was something like that. Exactly what you said is what happened. And then next thing you know, Dallas won the game on the right leg of Brandon Aubrey. If you go back and I watch the highlights of this game, it was mainly fourth quarter and overtime. They just kept exchanging blows on both sides. I caught the tail end of it, fourth quarter and overtime after my game was done. Um, yeah, Dallas got the win in this one. They can't be content or happy, in my opinion. They let New York stick around, but damn near won the game in overtime. if Russ hadn't, threw that pass, because he was under pressure, but it looked like a clown play when you go back and watch it, because again, the ball just sailed up in the air. Um, and plus, Dallas gave up 450 passing yards to the New York Giants that really didn't do much of anything the week before and haven't done anything definitely against Dallas over the years. So, uh, good win if you're a Cowboys fan or player, because they finally, they got in the win column, but I wouldn't be too happy. New York, they got Kansas City next week, so we already know how that's going to go.
Yeah, boy, that's might be a tough one. We will definitely see how that goes for real. Before we get into the next recap, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned, so come get some of this sweet temptation and taste a premium difference. Use code BNE for 15% off your order. The website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. Now let's get back to our show. Had another thriller, Patriots at the Dolphins. Patriots coming on top of this one. Had some thrilling special teams plays. But Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game, sir?
Yeah, if you look at the stat sheet, honestly, in my opinion, Miami should have won this game, but they continued to shoot themselves in the foot off the top. New England went up by 2 touchdowns. I remember you texted me after this. You were saying they was up 15-0 or something like that, but they missed both extra points, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me, Miami. They returned the favor in the second quarter. They made it a 1 point deficit at halftime. Had to been feeling a lot better with themselves heading into intermission there. And then in the fourth quarter, Miami got the momentum with a 74-yard Malik Washington punt return for a touchdown. But on the ensuing kickoff, Ed's former running back, Antonio Gibson, he kind of looked a little slow out there, but he chugged 90 yards on that touchdown return, and took the momentum back right then and there. So yeah, the Dolphins team, they've completely surprised me to start this season. They don't run the ball very well like
Mhm.
years past. They aren't playing good defense. Honestly, Tyreek and Waddle aren't producing like we're known them to do out there. And then again, making mistakes on special teams. They should have won this game, in my opinion. I'm not sold on the Patriots at this point either, despite the win. But at the end of the day, they got the dub, so that's all that counts. What do you feel about this one?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head in the nail. That they can't run the ball. I mean, the leading rusher had 30 yards. Tua, for the most part, did his thing, threw for over 300 yards, had 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but he was also sacked 5 times. O line didn't really do him a lot of favors out there, and like you said, that defense, um, they're like historically bad. It's the second game in a row they're giving up 33 points. I know they got a special team score out there, but they started the game. I think it was 12-0. Um, players only meeting. Now you're on 2. In my opinion, even though this is week 2, this was a must-win game for the
Yes,
Dolphins, man. And they lost this one. I think it's going to get even uglier from here on out. I think they got the Bills next,
they
and
got Bills. Yep,
right,
Thursday night.
Lord have mercy. May God have mercy on their souls. I don't know, man. I mean, it is a division game, so anything can happen. But I don't know. The Bills out there smoking people right now, so we'll see how it goes. But back to this game, though, the defense is atrocious, and it sucks because they could have won a game. Devin Achane at the end of the game, they thought he ran it in for a touchdown, but just stepped out of bounds, like just was on the out of bounds mark, and they caught it back. And after that, all the momentum they seemed to have, where they thought they scored, was on win the game, came out the building. They were unable to score a touchdown, and the Patriots won this one. And I agree with you, like you said. I think I'm still not sold on the Patriots. I know Drake May had a better performance. Had 10 rushes of 31 yards as well, according even with his passing, and scored a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 5 catches, 88 yards. I'm not sure that will happen too often, but win is a win for the Patriots. We'll see where they go. But the Dolphins, um, I won't be surprised if they get embarrassed by the Bills if changes start to get made. So we'll see what happens there for sure.
All right, everyone. The Bengals took down the Jaguars, but it came at a cost. Joe Burrow left with a toe injury and didn't return, as we told you, probably going to miss about 3 months. Ed, what do you think about this AFC matchup?
Honestly, this is a game that the Jags blew, in my opinion. Not only does Joe Burrow go out the game, but their backup comes in and he throws 3 interceptions, and the Jaguars just were not able to capitalize on it. Trevor Lawrence, man, I don't, it might be. I got to see how he looks after the season, but it might be time to move on for him. Him and Liam Cohen, I don't know if you saw, but him and Liam Cohen kind of got into it where Liam Cohen was trying to tell him something from the sideline, and Trevor Lawrence basically waved him off. You can see him doing his hand like this towards him. So that's not a good look in my opinion. They probably brushed things up by now, but still, that defense. If you get 3 turnovers, but you guys still, I mean, Jamar Chase was pretty much unguardable. 14 catches, 165 yards and a touchdown. Jake Browning, I mean, damn, he might as well give him a contract for franchise quarterback the way he played out there, even with the 3 interceptions. They still and he had basically the game winning touchdown, I believe, when he was a quarterback sneak at the end of the game. But I thought there was a little controversy, in my opinion. I really thought they called a pass interference on my guy Travis Hunter towards the end of the game. In my opinion, that's let the guys play. I mean, he was a little handsy, but in my opinion, they were hand fighting. He did turn his head around to look for the ball. I thought that call pass interference is, in my opinion, I don't know, man. I would let them play on, but they gave him pass interference, kept the Bengals drive alive, and they were basically able to win a game based off of that. But Trevor Lawrence, 2 interceptions, one of them were really bad in my opinion. I'm sure Liam Cohen is going to be in his head this week, telling him, "Come on, man, got to play right," because he's supposed to be this offensive guru. Saw what he did with Baker Mayfield last year. Um, People were hoping that he could do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence this year, but I don't know. The games when it's tight like this, he should have won this game. The Jaguars should have won this game. Bad loss for them to see if they're able to, rebound next week, or if this is a loss that will, make them slide further down the rankings. We'll see, but definitely not a good look for the Jaguars. They should have won this game, in my opinion. What did you think, though, Brandon?
So I'm gonna give credit to this Bengals team, coaching staff, because when you lose your franchise quarterback, it's never easy, and a team on top of it that's been known to start slow. They're 2-0 heading into week 3. I've been telling you all season to relax, all off season to relax when it comes to this Bengals defense because after a while, those guys just get tired of hearing the same old things about the issues. So they came to work on Sunday, forcing 2 interceptions, a sack, forced fumble, and 4 quarterback hits on Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas Jr., he was held in check for the most part. Travis Etienne was as well. I think he ate a little bit more, but still. And then on the other side, yes, Browning came in. He threw 3 interceptions, but he kept the game close. Was also responsible for 3 touchdowns, including that running back, the quarterback dive you talked about at the end, jumping over the defensive line there late in the game. Some people already counting this Bengals team out with Joe Burrow. I'm gonna say they're still gonna be close to in it there at the end because I think the defense is playing again a lot better than it has been last year and probably even the year before. So I think if Burrow comes back, and it's probably going to be late December, they could still possibly make a push for the playoffs. We'll see how it goes. Good win for Cincinnati and a good start. Again, I thought that was the key to them not missing the playoffs this year is getting off to a faster start, getting some of these wins in September where they've struggled so much over the years.
Yeah. All right, we got a Super Bowl rematch. Eagles beat the Chiefs 20-17. Game like this, the way it went down, you make a mistake, you lose the game. It's pretty much what happened. Where Travis Kelsey got a ball thrown to him, hit him in the hands. Mahomes tried to take up for him after the game. Said I could have threw the ball a little too early. I should have gave it better placement, but it hit Travis Kelsey in the hands. He wasn't able to catch it. The Eagles rookie cornerback picked it off, ran down the field. Great play by the rookie offensive lineman for the Chiefs. to run him down and tackle him before he's able to, go into the touchdown. But yeah, man, really defensive battle. Jalen Hurts only threw for 101 yards. There was one play he was scrambling, moving around in the pocket, trying to get out the backfield, and he got pretty much clotheslined. When I saw that live, I was like, "Woo!" That was a hit, boy. He popped back up, but yeah, that was a hit. It would have. I know that was me. It would have knocked the wind out of me. I'd have been yelling medic, where he got hit. But yeah, man, I know this was going to sting for the Chiefs, especially Travis Kelsey. Second week in a row, he's hurt his team. Literally the first time when he knocked Xavier Worthy out the game, and this time with the drop pass that led to an interception, it makes it even worse because he was basically had a little temper tantrum on the sideline earlier in the game, just slamming his helmet down and everything. And then you go out there and do that where you can't catch a ball. You can say Patrick Mahomes can say it was late if he wants to and everything like that. Could have given him a better ball, but it hit him in the hands. You got to catch that at the end of the day. So um, it's crazy though. This defense for the Chiefs, they were pretty much had the Eagles contained for the most part. There was one controversy, this tush push play that they were talking about. The Eagles had a tush push, Beverly shove, whatever you want to call it. It was a false start. You could see in the slow motion instant replay that the Eagles lineman jumped way before the Chiefs got the before they even hiked the ball. Eagles linemen started moving their heads, moving towards the defense of the Chiefs. So I thought, they got to take a look at this tush push again and see what's going on because if they continue to do stuff like that, something's got to happen. That's definitely an unfair advantage. But other than that, good win for the Eagles. I'm not too concerned with the offense and Jalen Hurts. He's doing what he needs to do to win games, and that's all that matters. And when they do need a pass, it's either AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. Like I said, in the recaps or the previews of these teams in NFC East, I said AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, 1A, 1B. Both of those guys can make plays. Devontae Smith, he had a big catch at the end of the game, and good win for the Eagles. See how they go from here. They won my parlay for me. Thank God. I'll probably never pick on them again, though. I can't do it. It wasn't good for my heart. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game?
Oh, how sweet it is, y'all.
Oh,
The
boy.
Chiefs are 0-2. Shout out to Ed, though, for correctly picking this game in our week 2 preview show. But we all saw what happened, man. Patrick Mahomes was literally out there doing everything he could just to get a first down, just to make a play for this offense. He was their leading rusher. Kelsey was the leading receiver, but he only managed to get 61 yards receiving. One of our old classmates from high school, Rashad, one of my good friends, he texted me during the game. He was like, "Man, they got to get Patrick Mahomes some help." And I was thinking, yeah, you right on the game standpoint, but from a Chiefs hater fan, this is amazing right here. Mahomes was under attack damn near all afternoon by the Eagles pass rush. They decided to change things up from the Super Bowl because going into this matchup, everybody was talking about how the Eagles got home without sending a single blitz, and Vic Fangio was sending the blitz a lot on Sunday afternoon there in Kansas City. They finished with 2 sacks and 10 quarterback hits on Mahomes. They just appear to not have any type of threat on the offensive side of the ball. I know that Rasheed Rice is out right now for another 4 games, I believe. Worthy, it's up in the air how long he's going to be till he gets back. But for right now, it just does not look good. They don't look like themselves. There's nobody out there that keeps opposing defensive coordinators up at night. Um, Again, we expect that to change when Rice and Worthy come back, but that's what they're dealing with right now. But yeah, Philly, another quiet game when it comes to their passing attack. It'll be interesting to see how long AJ Brown can keep his cool. I think he had a little bit more of a performance in this one than he did in Week 1, but still that's something to watch going forward. But again, shout out to Vic Fangio and this Eagles defense for rattling Mahomes in this one. I definitely kind of thought Philly might have been able to pull this off, but I thought with Mahomes and the Chiefs coming off a loss, we don't see them lose very much. They're usually very good coming off the loss, and now they've lost again 2-0, 2 games to start the season, dating back to the Super Bowl. That's 3 straight games they've lost. So um, the Giants are in for something next week. They're Sunday night again, and that'll probably be a game that we talk about later this week. But yeah, Philly, what 2-0 now? Kansas City 0-2. That's kind of strange to say, but yeah.
Yeah, they can't run the ball. Mahomes, their leading rusher, he's trucking people every week, but we'll see how long that lasts. Somebody gonna line him up sooner than later if he has to continue to scramble and run the ball. So definitely see how that goes. Broncos and Colts, great game. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this one?
Who is number 17 for the Indianapolis Colts, and what have you done with the real Daniel Jones? The former number 6 overall pick. He's playing lights out to start the season, connecting with the deep ball. He's making smart decisions with the football. He's just playing good football. He's got a really good connection with Tyler Warren. They are able to run the ball there in Indianapolis. With Jonathan Taylor, he had a pretty good game as well. They won this game despite the fact that they were not able to sack Bo Nix or get any quarterback hits on him. I was surprised when I saw that. Um, but Bo Nix, he completely overthrew Cortland Sutton in the fourth quarter, which gave Indy some late game momentum. And then the Colts kicker Spencer Schrader, and you was talking about this. You were texting me about this. I ran out to the store. He missed from 60 yards out as the clock was expiring. Um, I'm sure there were some fans that got out of their seats and started to leave, but then um, everyone saw the yellow flag come out. Denver got a personal foul for leverage. Schrader got a second chance, and he hit it from 45 to win the game. Denver, a team that I was very extremely high on heading into this season, they let Tennessee stick around, and then they lost to Indianapolis. Two AFC South teams there. Inexcusable in my eyes. As for Indy, I'm not 100% sold on them just yet, especially Daniel Jones. We've seen flashes like this before, not necessarily back to back, but we've seen flashes and he come back to slap us in the face. So, plus their first two wins were at home. So we'll see. They got two road games coming up at Tennessee and at the Rams. We'll see what that comes out of both those games before I put a little bit more faith in this Indianapolis team. But nevertheless, they are 2-0 and looking good right now. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, tough loss for the Broncos. They should have won this game. Like you said, that penalty to give the Colts another chance with the center jumping over the center. Tough way to go out. What surprised me, the Broncos defense so far. I thought they'd be a little bit better. I know I was predicting them to be like a top three defense. You said Jonathan Taylor had a good game, 165 yards rushing. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that defense. I know Patrick Surtain's been a little banged up. He had to take a little bit of time off this game. Had an ankle injury. He's able to come back and play, but the second week in a row, well, he's dealt with some kind of injury. First, it was the hip the first week, the ankle injury the second week. So I'm going to be checking him out going forward to see how his performance if it dips for the season or if he can come back to that defensive player of the year type performance because they needed that defense. I thought would be a strong point for them. They would win games based on the defense, but yeah, you can't lose like this, especially in the AFC West. I know the Chiefs are down right now, but they got Mahomes. Anything could happen, and Chargers looking great right now too. So you lose a game like this is definitely tough. It could lead to some hangover. Hopefully they forget about it and move on to next week. But definitely a tough way to lose. And like you said, I'm not really sold on the Colts yet either. I gotta see like a whole month, maybe I gotta see like 6 weeks of this. Let's see how they look after 6 weeks. So there's a lot of teams that start 2-0. Patriots started 2-0 last year. A lot of teams that start 2-0 and then they can jump off a cliff. So I'm not sold on the Colts either, but Daniel Jones has played well so far. Jonathan Taylor has benefited. One thing, like last week, Daniel Jones, stop stealing Jonathan Taylor's touchdowns, damn it. Um, Jonathan Taylor needs to score those touchdowns. I'm saying it's strictly for fantasy football purposes, but damn it, I need Jonathan Taylor to score these rushing touchdowns. Thankfully, he had a monster game still, the 165 yards rushing, and he caught a touchdown through the air. But he's a running back. Please let him run the ball, okay? But a good win for the Colts. We'll see how it goes going forward. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm not really sold on the Colts yet either.
All right, time for some player awards. Some guys that performed quite well in week two. Offensive ace of the week. Who you got, Ed?
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. It was a few guys out there who have monster performance, but I got to go back to that Giants game. I got to give it to Malik Neighbors, career day, 9 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that one he caught with 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I thought they won the game with that one. So I got to give a salute to Malik Neighbors. Not looking forward to playing him again when we do. Lord have mercy.
Sorry, Ed, but I gotta go with Tucker Kraft, the Packers tight end. Those guys don't usually get Player of the Week love, but 6 receptions and 124 yards and a touchdown. It gives it. I got plenty of love for him. He was their leading receiver. Just a great game out there on Thursday Night Football against Ed's Commanders. Defender of the Week. Who you got?
I'm gonna give it to Brian Branch, safety of the Lions. 6 tackles, interception, and a fumble force, and he broke up about one pass, and he had a sack. Great overall game for Brian Branch. I think he's a really good safety in the league. So I'm gonna show some love to Brian Branch of the Detroit Lions. How about you?
Playing like he did back at Alabama with the Crimson Tide. I'm going with Roquan Smith. His new name in Baltimore, I heard on the radio broadcast, was Agent Zero. Makes me think back to the DC Wizards days with Gilbert Arenas. So Ravens fans, including myself, we've been hard on him last year and even in week one, thinking that he lost a step. But the veteran had 15 total tackles. I think it was 8 solo, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 quarterback hits, and then he had a 63-yard fumble return for a touchdown. That kind of iced the game for us there. We did score once again as well, but great game for Roquan Smith, our middle linebacker, Pro Bowl player. Who's your special teams player of the week?
We might have the same one. I'm not sure, but I got to give it to the Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey. 4 for 4, had that 64-yard long to tie the game in the fourth quarter. Also went 4 for 4 next extra points, and he won a game winner in overtime. So I got to give it to Brandon Aubrey, Cowboys kicker.
I've got exactly the same. The only thing I'll add is he's the NFC's best kicker, in my opinion. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys. All right, Bonehead player call of the week. What you got?
Got to give it to the Steelers rookie running back. I don't know who all saw this game, but we saw that the Seahawks were able to score a touchdown because basically he either didn't know the rules or he forgot the rules. Seahawks kicked the ball off, landed in the landing zone. It bounced over his head and went to the end zone. Caleb Johnson basically looked at the ball and just, was walking over to the sideline. But the play was still going on. Seahawks recovered the ball and they got a touchdown. That kind of, I don't want to say it won in the game, but it kind of broke the game open for them because at that point in the time in the game, it was still kind of close. But that touchdown helped the Seahawks, gave them a little bit more momentum, in my opinion. Caleb Johnson, if I was a coach, he definitely got a good smack in the back of the helmet because Lord have mercy. But yeah, my bonehead player of the week is definitely Caleb Johnson, rookie running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How about you?
Tyler Luke, Ravens kicker. I texted you about it. He had 2 special teams penalties on kickoffs. He had a kick out of bounds, and one didn't end up in the landing zone. Both resulted in setting up Cleveland in pretty good field position. If I remember correctly, he did something like that against Buffalo as well. I thought we would have had this cleaned up heading into week two, but we did not. So please have it cleaned up heading into Monday Night Football week three against the Detroit Lions, because that's a team that can quick strike you on offense. We cannot make these mistakes. We got back to back Detroit and Kansas City. Those teams like to capitalize off your mistakes. Tyler Luke, get it together.
All right, you heard it, Tyler. Come on now. Let's get to a little bit of these other games of week two. Of course, you had Thursday night football where Packers beat the hell out of the Commanders. Don't look at the score; it was a thorough ass whooping, 27-18. Lions welcomed Ben Johnson back. They blew the doors off the Bears, 52-21. Rams beat the Titans, 33-19. Bills stomped out the Jets, 30-10. Seahawks beat the Steelers, 31-17. Ravens shut up the Browns, 41-17. 49ers and Mac Jones, Brandon Boy Mac and Cheese beat the Saints 26-21. Cardinals survived against the Panthers 27-22. If people saw the end of that game, Jesus Christ. Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6. Bucks beat the Texans 20-19. Great game-winning drive for Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. And the Chargers also beat the Raiders 20-9. That doubleheader of Monday Night Football. Brandon, did you have an eye on any of these games we just went over?
Definitely did. Chargers, they look good, man. That's just the way you want to start your season. With two wins against divisional opponents, they picked off Geno Smith at least three times. It could have been more. I saw three interceptions from what I saw online. Bills Jets. The Jets have come back out of hiding, y'all. They are not who we thought they were in week one. They're exactly who we thought they were from last year. Okay. Seahawks and Steelers. I'm glad I picked Pittsburgh. Told y'all that Steelers defense hadn't gotten much better, especially against the run, and we've seen it on display. I know I saw some. Um, I believe they had multiple injuries heading into this game. I think they lost a couple more people as well. But at the end of the day, they still ain't no better than what they were last year. And then Tampa Bay versus Texans, man, that game had me on the edge of my seat. Tampa Bay, they got to figure out their special teams unit, and they got to figure it out fast. Bad coverage. I texted you about this. Punt team protection isn't all that good, and their kicker is missing kicks as well. They got the win, but Tampa Bay, man, you want to be good in all three phases, and this is not a phase that a lot of teams are bad in when they're really good overall. You get what I'm saying? So Tampa Bay got to fix this special teams unit if y'all want to go far. Again, they're my Super Bowl pick coming out of the NFC, but yeah, somebody going to expose you even more than what they already have moving forward. What do you think about some of these games?
Definitely the Lions turning the Bears into a doormat. Jared Goff turned back to how he looked last year. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Boy, I'm telling you, the Bears missed Jalen Johnson. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, he had a big touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs was doing his thing out there as well. It's looking ugly. It's looking funny in the light again for the Bears. Caleb Williams, I don't know. Ben Johnson's supposed to come in. It's still early. It's only week 2, but not looking good so far, especially getting embarrassed like that. Homecoming for Ben Johnson. Welcome back home to Detroit. They whooped your ass, man. Excuse me. The Cardinals Panthers. I was texting you about that game. The end of that game was absolutely hectic. I mean, it was like back to back to back to penalties. Like 2 back-to-back penalties in a row for the Cardinals that kept the Panthers alive. I really thought for 1 second that the Panthers was going to come back and win this game because the Cardinals was doing everything in their power. It was either encroachment, holding, pass interference. I mean, you name it, they got a call against them. But in the end, the Panthers, let's face it, they stink. They shot themselves in the foot as well, holding calls. Bryce Young's getting sacked at the end of the game. I think Calais Campbell was the one at the end of the game to sack him to, pretty much put the game out of balance. So that Cardinals Panthers game at the end of the game was crazy, man. And I was taking a look at y'all game too, Ravens Browns. At first I thought, it could be one of them games where the Browns do their thing. Myles Garrett was causing some havoc out there at first, but y'all settled down. Only reason they even got one of the touchdowns kind of a fluky way where, the ball, Marlon Humphrey bounced. I think he dropped it or it bounced off his hands and Cedric Tillman was able to catch it in the end zone. So we'll see how that goes. Joe Flacco got benched towards the end of the game. It was out of hand at that point, and Dylan Gabriel came in. So we'll see if there's a quarterback change in the future with the Browns. I don't know. But I was definitely keeping an eye on that. And then 49ers beating the Saints. Mac Jones coming in, throwing 3 touchdowns. We'll see how they look. No George Kittle, no Brock Purdy, no problem. Still able to win the game. So we'll see how they look going forward. They got a good test against the Cardinals. I'm kind of leaning toward the Niners in that game, actually. But we'll talk about it, I'm sure. But yeah, good week of football. Had a few good games that went down to the wire, especially like you mentioned, the Bucks Texans game and the that Cowboys Giants game was just crazy as well. But yeah.
Friends, please take a moment, hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on X social media, formerly known as Twitter, at Podcast B&E, and on Instagram at B&E Podcast. Thank you so much for watching our Week 2 recap show. We'll be back on Friday to talk about Bills Dolphins. I, for a second, thought that was in Miami, but I'm hearing it's in Buffalo. So, yeah, it might be some tough sledding, but like you said, it might be some changes down there in Miami after this one. And we'll be dissecting this game and several Week 3 games as well come Friday. Until next time, love one another.